Happy Halloween, guys! Hey, Halloween was ages ago. Fuck you, nobody cares. Anyway, for the spooky season, I thought I'd review a spooky movie. Specifically, the new Five Nights at Freddy's movie, which released on October the 25th. Released to scathing critical reviews but adoration by fans and greeted with immense critical success at the box office, this film looks to be a real hit from Blumhouse Studios, producers of many a famous horror movie over the past decade or two. But what did I think of it? So, the plot basically goes like this. Mike Schmidt gets a job as a night guard at the disused Freddy's location after getting fired from everyone else for beating people up that he thinks are kidnapping children but aren't. It gets established that when he was young, his brother got kidnapped by a mysterious man as he'd been trying to find out the truth by lucid dreaming to explore his memories more. He is the caregiver to his younger sister, but his aunt is conspiring to have his custody of her revoked by getting him accused of criminal negligence that would allow her to take her away. As he works and sleeps there, the animatronics invade his dreams, and he learns more about the location and the missing children's incident from a police officer named Vanessa. Oh my god, it's the Vanny, guys, it's the Vanny, and begins piecing together what happened. He is tempted to give up his sister to be with his brother and happy family again, but when the deal falls through, they beat him up and go to kidnap his sister. For some reason they get Golden Freddy to do this, who just kinda appears out of nowhere, and also is able to fit into taxis that are definitely way too small for him. Fanny reveals that her father is William Afton, who owned Freddy's and murdered all of the kids and stuffed them inside the animatronics, and also clearly fucked up Vanny pretty bad as well. They rescue the sister from getting stuffed into what I assume is some kind of spring-locked circus baby animatronic. The whole thing with bitey spring-locks was established earlier, only to get cornered by Afton dressed in his old Golden Bonnie costume, who also reveals himself as the guy who sent Mike to work at Freddy's at the beginning of the movie. This twist was visible from a mile off, by the way. It is explained that he basically gaslit all the children into thinking he was good so he could control them, but when the truth is revealed by replacing a doodle on the wall of the pizzeria, they immediately turn on him. After getting attacked, the spring-locks begin slowly crushing him, before he puts on his mask and shouts his classic line before getting dragged into the back room of the building by all the animatronics as the pizzeria falls apart around them. Mike and his sister patch things up, and he retains custody. The end. I know that summary might sound somewhat scathing, and that's true, it really doesn't do this movie justice. When you're watching it, it's a very tight-knit and suspenseful thing. With a runtime of just 1 hour and 49 minutes, it's pretty much a perfect length for a movie, and it has a good pace to it, which I liked. It also has so many cool Easter eggs for the fans, like the book on Dream Theory, a popular early theory from around FNAF 4's time, and lots of other brands from within the Freddy universe. Hey, we even got a Map Pack cameo. But that's just a theory. Again! I watched this movie on Halloween night with my friend, and for the occasion we dressed up as spooky video game characters, specifically ones from Deltarune, our shared autistic hyperfixation game, and we had a great evening together and did trick-or-treating afterwards. We aren't boyfriends, by the way. He's just my bestie. I recorded us chatting about our thoughts on the movie afterwards because we both had some interesting stuff to say about it. He asked for me to change his voice to protect his identity, so I have tastefully dubbed his lines in an accurate but distinct voice to him. So, was it a good movie?
It was alright. I liked the general vibe. It was pretty freaky in some places, a bit too light-hearted in others, but on the whole it was rather fun.
Yeah, I think the intrusion of, like, I wouldn't say intrusion, but like, there were some moments where maybe they didn't need to have the light-hearted pop music. If anything, I would have liked a cameo from Scott as Phone Guy, but he obviously doesn't appear. But that's a bit of a shame, but...
Yeah, there were a lot of cameos. It was marvellous.
Matthew Patthew? Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. The outro music was just marvellous too.
The fact they actually got the Living Tombstone song in there, like, you can tell that, like, the movie was, like, really, like, filled with fan service, what with all, like, the references to, like, all the different bits of FNAF, like Dream Theory, and all the stuff about the animatronics and the like.
On the whole, I feel like it felt much more like a movie for the fans than a movie for the critics. It wasn't really...
Which is evident in the ratings.
Precisely, unfortunately so.
Yeah. I will say, the practical and special effects looked absolutely amazing. Like, I thought the animatronics of like the robotic suits that they used were absolutely gorgeous. Like, they were very realistic and sort of like they felt, well, they were tangible. They were real models, obviously.
And what's beautifully glorious, they had a magnificent way of expressing their gore.
They were very sparing with the gore, presumably because, you know, it's only rated a 15 or a PG-13. But the gore they did have, like, they used it very well. Like the spring locks, you know, crushing into Afton's ribs, and and obviously the, you know, the scenes with like the cupcake biting into that guy's face.
That cupcake was viscerally like
That was so scary.
Funniest thing I've ever seen.
Like yeah, like they managed to create, like, I suppose that's the charm of FNAF. Like FNAF, like the animatronics, they're cutesy but at the same time mildly unsettling. They're dancing on the uncanny valley. But, you know, like when they're in this sort of low light context where it's just the glowing eyes, like, you know, they can be really scary. I will say, if they just had the white pinpricks instead of the big glowing red eyes, then that would have made it even scarier, I'd say. But, you know, it gives it a slightly more general appeal if, you know, they have the big classic glowing red eyes. Like the eyes don't really change colour all that much, so I think it's like effective in simply from the fact that, you know, you don't see that much of it.
Regardless, I think they pulled off the general appeal of terrifying animatronics while also humanising them in a very intriguing way.
Yeah, sort of like the moral quandary and like all the, like, you know, the sort of influence and control gaslighting that Afton was doing, like, really sort of paints him as, like, you know, the sick manipulator. And I thought his comeuppance was decently brutal. Like, something I found very interesting was sort of like, as he's slowly being dragged away, the pizzeria sort of disintegrates, and like, it's not really explained in the movie, but it's sort of like, it reminded me of Monster House, if you've ever seen that movie. Like, it's not just like the kids possessing the animatronics, it's like the pizzeria itself is sort of angry and it's sort of coming to life to sort of drag Afton away.
I see what you mean, though. I must find it relatively humorous to see the murderer himself get jumped. It was hilarious.
Michael! Don't leave me here! Michael!
Well, I'd say that's about the extent of my thoughts.
My thoughts. It was an amazing movie in pretty much all respects. Had some issues, like in like tone at times, but otherwise it was a great movie. I think it was definitely made for the fans and to a certain extent by the fans, and I think it accomplishes everything it set out to do very well.
I must also say before we end this that seeing someone get bitten off was absolutely cackle-worthy.
It was sort of slightly slapstick, but at the same time very sort of scary.
Charlie Chaplin on crack.
Yeah. So what rating would you give it?
I give that 7 cheeses out of 10.
Yeah.
Or 8 cheeses. I like cheese.
Yeah. So 8 cheeses out of 10, and I go for the same. 8 cheeses out of 10.
Precisely.
No idea why we're talking about cheese, but we are.
I like dairy anyway. That's it. Bye-bye.
See ya.
So, those were our thoughts on the FNAF movie. Ostensibly, it is just another video game movie, but I think it definitely had a lot of passion put into it. Definitely a movie for the fans, not the film critics. And with that, I will conclude this video. A belated Happy Halloween to you all.